Hello everybody. The big question entering game one was who on the Warriors can guard Doncic? And the answer was a whole team defends Doncic, and they threw all kinds of different defensive looks to keep Doncic guessing, and it definitely seemed to throw him out of rhythm. Steph Curry's man is screening to try to force Steph to switch onto Brunson. The Warriors go straight into their high tag defense, which I'm going to take a minute to explain the history of it. So high tag defense was first used by the Warriors against the Cavaliers because, of course, LeBron James would love to isolate on Steph and Curry. Steph's man screens. In theory, Steph is going to have to reluctantly switch over to LeBron. Steph just jumps out right away and he switches back to his man, and LeBron has picked up his dribble. He has to hoist this enormously long shot. Okay, another scene. Steph sees that LeBron wants to switch onto him, so he jumps out and catches LeBron way out here on the logo. Steph's man peels off. Steph wants to recover all the way to this man, but this is already a victory because now we don't have LeBron isolating on Steph Curry. Okay, so now we're back in 2022. So if you understand the high tag defense, when someone's trying to force Steph to switch onto the ball handler, he's going to try to jump out and tag the ball handler in order to force the switch to come too early. Doesn't even wait for Brunson to get to the screen. He says, "Fine, I embrace my destiny," and he jumps right at Brunson. He's going to recover to his man. His man set his pick, and now he's popping out, but Brunson's just not yet in position to get it to him. So Steph is going to get to his man, and Draymond will switch back to Brunson. Got a double screen here waiting to nail poor Andrew Wiggins. Luka wants Steph to switch on to him, and so Steph goes straight to high tag. I'm just going to embrace my destiny. I'm going to jump out early. And then he says, "Tag, you're it," and he immediately evacuates to pick up his man again. Looney, he's been sunk back here waiting for Luka, and then Wiggins fights his way around this screen. So this ends up not being a switch onto Steph, and it becomes what the Warriors want, which is Wiggins harassing Doncic, and Looney dropped back to contain. The Warriors change up their defense on this play. Flat back screen to force a switch by Jordan Poole, but the Warriors figure, "Hey Luka, you're on the sideline. The sideline is now one of the defenders. We're going to spring an instant trap on you with Wiggins and Poole." And Luka just barely gets his ball out. This defense looks like a box and one. Here's the box. And here's Wiggins playing one-on-one with Luka Doncic. Results in a pretty long shot with the shot clock winding down. Next play down, the Warriors are still in their box and one. Wiggins playing man-to-man with Luka Doncic. Then a 2-2 zone in the back. You can tell it's a real 2-2 zone because this man cuts through and Jordan Poole is guarding him here. But then as he crosses out of Poole's territory, Poole says, "You're no longer in my jurisdiction. I'm handing you off to Otto Porter." Dallas seems confused about what to do in this play. Two of the Dallas role players trying to improvise. I think the Warriors will take that. So not only is Curry playing the high tag, but they've even got Poole going into it. Poole's man steps up to set a screen. Poole embraces his fate and he jumps out to try to tag Luka. Poole is clearly not quite as experienced at doing this, so he kind of pauses and looks at Luka for a little bit, and then he decides, "All right, I'm going to tag you with flair." He just kind of like almost gives him a high five, and then he's like, "All right, I'm out." He peels off to get back to his man. Definitely confusing for Dallas because Luka just says, "All right, I'm just going to ISO Andrew Wiggins, I guess." And he just loses the ball, and Draymond says, "Look what walked in my front door." This play, they're picking on Steph. Steph's man comes up to set a screen. Steph does not get the high tag off early enough. The key to the high tag is jump out way early before the ball handler is ready to use the screen. So Steph does step out, but I think he realizes, oh, this is a little too late. My guy is getting nailed by the screen. Steph tries to bail out, and he tries to recover back to his man. Luka takes this opportunity to try to go by while Steph is setting a half friendly fire screen on Wiggins. And Steph decides, I really have to switch. And with good lateral movement, he stays with Luka. And as Luka goes for the 1-2 Euro step, Steph going to the Andre Iguodala school of swipe downs, and Luka has to vomit up this very awkward pass. Okay, this play, Dallas tries a little trickery. They fake a ram screen to start off to bump Steph. Dwight Powell tries to sell it with his little thumb move saying, "Hit to right on my screen." This man's going to go away. Powell himself just turns around and sets the screen. On this play, the Warriors' defense it's a straight drop. Wiggins fight his way around the screen. Looney is sunk back here to try to contain in case Doncic gets free and attacks the basket. Looney just volunteers to switch on to Doncic. There's always a defender behind. Wiggins shows his hand pretty early. He's just sitting here in the paint as a goalie, waiting in case Doncic gets past Looney. Once he sees it early, Doncic drives past Looney, so Wiggins has to rotate. That means his man Powell, in theory, should be free to cut to the basket. Draymond tries some four-dimensional chess here, where he's trying to bump this cut and disrupt a possible lob while staying in position to possibly jump out to Jalen Brunson in the corner. But he splits a little too much, and Powell does get himself a little bit free for this pass, and it's a dunk. Next play, the Warriors make an adjustment. So similar look, there's going to be a ram screen here to bump Steph so that this man can come up and set a screen. And this time it's not a fake. In theory, Doncic can force a switch from Steph onto Doncic, right? No, Steph said this is really far away from the basket. So Steph just wanders over here, and Kevon Looney just waits for Doncic to show up on the other side. Doncic is trying to take this rescreen and get the switch from Looney, and Looney says, "Fine, I don't mind. I've guarded Harden one-on-one for a whole series, and he's way more annoying than you are." So now we have the same situation, right? Doncic should be able to blow by Looney and force Powell's defender, Andrew Wiggins, to rotate to stop him, and then another dish over to Powell for a dunk. That's what happened last play. But the Warriors decide to play this interestingly different. Wiggins posed like he was going to be the man rotating to Doncic, but instead he goes back to Powell to prevent him from cutting to the basket, and instead Draymond jumps out to stop Luka's drive, which I think Luka was not really expecting, because Luka ends up pulling up. Once Luka has pulled up, Looney has enough time to pick up Doncic again, and Draymond says, "My work here is done, I'm out of here," and he's peeling off to try to defend the free man in the corner. Doncic picks up his dribble, Looney is threatening. Steph sneaks in on Luka's blind side to double team him. Suddenly he's got a face full of unanimous, so Steph just whacks the ball out. Here comes the screen. Steph is starting to implement a high tag defense, but Luka is anticipating that Steph is going to hard show. So instead, Luka tries this suave behind the back dribble, and now he's suddenly rejecting the screen. Wiggins is not fooled. He stays right with Luka. Luka tries this little hesitation and head fake, but Wiggins does not fall for it. And so Draymond says, "I believe you have my property." This is a decent screen, and it is nailing Clay, and Clay is friendly fire screening Wiggins. Steph definitely feels like he has to jump out here, but instead of letting Steph just be ISO'd by Doncic, Clay comes and throws in an instant trap on Doncic. So another new defensive look for the Warriors. In theory, this should be really good. There's a 2-on-1 over here, but these guys are just standing way too close together. This gives Steph enough time to catch up to Brunson. Steph shows that he's a capable one-on-one defender. Brunson drives, tries to turn the corner on Steph, a suave little behind the back move. Steph stays right with him. And because there's 2 on the shot clock, Draymond has no issues switching over to challenge the shot. Straight pick and roll. Steph Curry's man screening Wiggins. Doncic taking the screen. This is not quite the high tag defense. Steph waits for Doncic to take the screen, and then he'll come out and put his arm out to basically stop Doncic from going any further. So there's the show. Wiggins meet Doncic on the other side. Wiggins with a great job staying in front of Doncic. This is a nifty little spin move. Once again, the Warriors have a goalie behind the initial defender. Dallas trying to exploit this. They know Draymond here has to defend these 2 guys. So they have Powell here setting a pin-in screen on Draymond, which leaves this guy completely open. Luka does find the open man, and he misses the shot. There's no question that if Dallas made a few more of these open threes, the game would have a very different feel. But I'm not sure that that would fix the lack of rim protection and rebounding. Such a sharp contrast to the Grizzlies series. On the bottom side, there's some defensive confusion between Steph and Looney, just to show that the Warriors defense was not at all perfect today. I believe the confusion is over who's guarding number 25, Reggie Bullock. You see Steph pointing that way, and I think he is trying to say that Kevon Looney needs to be taking Bullock, and that makes sense if you want to keep Looney the closest person to the basket. But then you have Looney pointing to Bullock. Looney feels like he should be staying with Kleber. So Kevon walks over and touches Steph. This whole time Bullock says, you know what, man, if you're going to leave me completely alone, I'm just going to cut to the basket. So then Steph is pointing out saying, hey man, I want you to guard Bullock, and he's over there. And Kevon Looney, like if he was a cartoon character, there's going to be a thought bubble with a giant exclamation mark coming over his head. He almost jumps. He's like, whoa, where is he? But he realizes it in time to recover, and even though Bullock is pretty close to the basket, it's a pretty tough job to finish over Looney, and Looney gets a piece of the shot. On this play, Dallas is experimenting with ways to counter this high tag defense. Screen is here, ball handler wants to switch on to Steph. I don't really know why they're playing high tag in this situation, but they do. So Steph jumps way out high to tag Brunson. Steph tries to get back to his man. Dallas does something interesting. They're anticipating Steph will try to recover to the man, and so his man is just going to screen his own defender, Steph, so that Brunson can blow by. Clay's the last line of defense, so he has to sink off the corner. And this is an open-ish shot that he just misses. Okay, here's another move by Dallas to counter the high tag. Screen coming, Steph getting picked on. Steph tries to high tag, jumping out on Doncic. Steph turns to recover to his man. His man is screening Steph, and he's getting Andrew Wiggins here, 2 for the price of 1. So Doncic is sprung free. Jordan Poole rotates way off of his man to be the goalie behind the front line. There's just this wall of 3 players in the paint. Doncic just tries to bully through Poole, and Wiggins got a piece of that from behind. Extremely basic Warriors play, which is pinned down. Draymond can definitely see this coming. He's throwing a little bit of low-key flair here with the one-handed baseball pass. Dallas's defense just never got organized. Doncic never found a person to guard, so Looney can freely screen Steph's man, and Steph is just wide open free. Quick celebration audit. Let's see, Steph is doing a very interesting looking dance. I think it's the dance from the barbecue commercial.
Jones barbecue and foot massage. 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 Lord Johnson. Yeah, it's catching.
Yeah, you can't stop singing it.